Today's session is on presentation skills, creating powerful slides. We have like 60 minutes to go with us. It's a very short time to understand how to create beautiful killer presentations for professional use. But the idea here is to give you some skills, provide you some tools, and then hands-on and practice will depend on how you utilize those skills and tools in your day-to-day working, right? I'm sure it's a very difficult time for all of us. We heard about the term VUCA a couple of years ago. That's VUCA, volatile, uncertain, that's complex and ambiguous. It is actually a VUCA world for all of us, and we don't know when this lockdown period will open up, when the businesses will stabilize, when things will get normalized, when schools will reopen, when transport will start. So it is the best time for us when we are helpless. It is the best time for us to upskill ourselves. TAPDC is a Skill India initiative, and we are into skill development and skill upgradation for professionals working across industries, irrespective of whether they are into IT, they are into manufacturing or retail or medical. So in this session also, we are expecting people joining in from different parts of India. People are joining from Hyderabad, Kolkata, Surat, Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Chennai. So I welcome you all to this particular session, and I feel privileged to be sitting in front of you and sharing what I have learned in 18 plus years of my professional career so far. I hope it's going to be an interesting program. And if you have any suggestions for us how to build powerful slides, please drop that in the chat window or reach out to us on our email address that's listed on this particular website. Okay. So I am Charu Smita Malhotra. A few of you already know me, and my team is already in this session. So we have 3 or 4 people from TAPDC who are joining in this particular session. So they are here with us to help us throughout. Okay. So this program is brought to you by TAPDC. A little bit about TAPDC. If you are new, if this term is very new to you, TAPDC stands for Technology and Personality Development Center. And we are based in Faridabad on Delhi border at NHPC metro station. So you can see the glimpses of our facility that we have. We do our open learning programs at this facility, and we also conduct in-house training programs. So in this particular month, so these were the offerings that we shared with the participants pan India on the virtual platform. On 2nd of April, we did a program on data analytics with pivot tables. On 9th of April, we did a high impact professional email writing. On 16th, we did a motivational program that's winning thoughts. And today's 23rd, when we are doing designing professional slides training program. A brief into what is planned for upcoming days. In the April and May, we are doing 4 hours workshop. And this month is dedicated to data analytics and data visualization. I'm a data freak. So as you can understand, so we are doing a data analytics workshop on advanced formulas and functions in Excel. This is planned for 29th. It's a 4-hour session, 2 to 6. Then we are doing a data visualization program. That's again, it's going to be very, very interesting with learning 15 to 20 new Excel charts and graphs, understanding why we create them, how they are created, when to use them. On 6th, we are doing a 2 hours workshop on critical thinking and creative problem solving. And on 9th, again, it's a 4 hours workshop on creating powerful dashboards in Excel using a lot of elements that we create in PowerPoint or Excel or Word for that matter. So if you need any information regarding any of these programs, the link is mentioned here, TAPDC Open Learning Workshops. So you can go to this particular link and refer to all the details that we are sharing with you. Okay. Again, these are TAPDC's offerings. We do in-house training programs as well. Again, it's available on our website. So I'm just going to give it a skip in the interest of time. Okay, a little bit about myself. I am the founder, CEO, Technology and Personality Development Center. It is a little over 2 years old entity. I've spent most of my time with IBM India, around 13 to 14 years when I was with IBM India, and my last position was Transition and Transformation COE lead. So I served in IBM for 13 to 14 years in different capacities over a period of time. I served Infosys, I served Keen. And while I was with Infosys and Keen, I've served Fortune 500 clients like Development Bank of Singapore, Prudential Group Insurance, Telstra Australia, and Dubai Health Authority, to name a few. I'm just giving you some insights into my profile because it is important for all of us to understand the knowledge that I have related to the subject. It's based on my personal experience. We have worked with people across the globe. We have worked with CXOs. We have worked with the top line management. We have seen the kind of presentations that are being prepared across the world from different organizations, from different parts of the world. So I've got some insights into what the people expect and how should we be creating similar presentations going forward. So all the other things about me are listed, and I request you all to please connect with me on LinkedIn if you are available on LinkedIn. So my LinkedIn address is also mentioned here. Okay. So today what we are going to cover, as I said, it's a very short time, and we will be talking about three essential things. One is understanding what are the common business presentation pitfalls. So pitfalls are basically, why do you think presentations fail? Why do you think you fail to impress the audience, right? Why do you think people do not get some call to action from your presentation? So what are the things, what are the pitfalls that we generally encounter while giving a presentation? uh, how to design a killer business presentation, essentially. Yes, that's the whole idea of coming here and doing a 1 hour program here with us. And again, a few tips into how to make a presentation very, very effective. Now, to begin with, before we get into the all these three important elements, I need to tell you that there are different types of presentations. Some are informative, some are persuasive, some are for decision making, some are instructional, some are for motivational purposes. So what I mean to say is, when you create a presentation, if the purpose is to do a sales pitch, okay, and then the purpose is the training. So for both these two elements, the way you design your presentation will be different, will be a little different, right? So when you are presenting something using a PowerPoint in front of a large audience, or 8 to 10 people in a conference room, or over some virtual tool like Zoom meetings or any other platform for that matter, the mode of the presentation, the way you design a presentation will be very different from while you are training somebody, right? If you're using it in for educational purposes, it will be very different. If you're using it for sharing the information in PowerPoint over an email with your management, the designing of the presentation will be altogether different, right? So please be aware that today's training program essentially revolves around making a presentation with the idea that we are going to present it in front of the audience, right? Whether it is our management or the client for sales pitch, or the presentations that are done for addressing larger audience. So we are not working on presentations which we probably share over an email with our management or with the client, right? So I hope the agenda is clear to all of you. If you have any questions, you can put it in the chat window. I hope we are good with what we are going to cover today. Can you please use the chat window to confirm my understanding? Are you good with what we intend to cover today? Okay. So with a couple of confirmations, I think we are good to go. Okay. Now a question to all of you again. Please use the chat window for your responses. What do you think are the common business presentation pitfalls? You must have given presentations, or you must have been a part of the business presentations in a conference room or a meeting room, or your sales pitch with the customer, or in a town hall. So what, according to you, are common business presentation pitfalls? Okay, presentation with lots of text. Yes, we are talking about the design part here. Unprepared, absolutely, Anilji. Any other pitfall? Why do presentations fail? What happens in a bad presentation? I want it to be interactive to some level. It makes things interesting, right? Less infographics, okay, graphics, right? Presentation with no relevance to audience, absolutely. Too much material. Communication skills, Ayush, wonderful. Lack of confidence over sequencing problem, absolutely, very nice. Lack of diagrams, infographics, yes. Sometimes content is not relevant, Deepa, right? And eye contact, absolutely. When we talk about the non-verbal skills, yes. Lack of simplicity, ABC of communication, okay. Single flow. Thank you very much for your inputs here. I think we all understand what happens in a bad presentation. Too much information, no connection with the audience, the subject is not relevant, probably audiences, we are not able to connect with the audience. So what I've done is I've summarized all these business presentation pitfalls into 4 different categories. Okay, I hope you will agree with me on this. First is no research, right? No research. We'll get into the aspects of what do we mean by no research. Second is the verbal delivery. Yes, our language skills, the practice, right? And non-verbal communication, someone mentioned about body language, eye contact, absolutely. And the fourth is the bad design, when we talked about a lot of text, less infographics, less of graphs. So let's understand what do we mean by no research. Okay. We are all very intelligent people, and I'm so happy to be facilitating this program today in front of you. So what happens when we say no research? See, whenever we give a presentation, it is very important for us to understand our audience. What does audience expect? Okay, please do not judge me on the presentation that I am giving today. It's a training program, so it's not a training, it's not a presentation that I'll probably give to one of my customers. So it's a training program, so please don't judge me. Okay, so for a successful presentation, I was saying we need to really understand the current skill level of our audience, right? So when I say current skill level of our audience, so if you're in a sales pitch and if you're presenting your products to a customer or a group of people who are representing your customer side, and if you start from very basic, they'll understand that everything is available on the website. Why is this person wasting my time? There's no additional content in the slide. So we need to make sure that what we are presenting is also relevant to our audience. What is their current understanding of our products? What is it that they want to see in the presentation? What is it that I want to share in the presentation, and what is the call to action? So if you have attended that the email communication program that we did on I think 9th of this month, we talked about STAR model of written communication. Here also the STAR model of written communication is very important, wherein first we need to know what is the purpose of my presentation, why I am giving this, right? And there has to be a call to action in every presentation. You need to do your homework. You cannot fool your audience, and you need to go prepared for all the set of possible questions that audience may probably ask, right? The second is the verbal delivery. What happens is when we are not confident about a subject, what we tend to do, we put a lot of text on the slide to assure ourselves that just in case if I forget something, I will read the text on the slide itself. So this is what happens in most of the cases, right? So this is not the right way of doing it. In today's circumstances, when we are talking about the kind of presentation, when we are presenting it to a larger audience, there should be very less text on the presentation. We will talk about all these things as we go forward. But it is not at all acceptable that you read your speech from the slide, or for that matter, use your cue cards. Even reading through your cue cards, it's not really relevant, or it's not appreciated by the audience. You need to be a master of the subject that you're presenting. And this doesn't come in a day or two. You need to practice it at least 7 to 10 days in advance. And the best way to practice it is stand in front of the mirror and say it out loud how you would like to give it in the real life presentation scenario. So practice is a must, whether I am Charu or I am Narendra Modi, our Honorable Prime Minister, everyone does this kind of practice session. So irrespective of who you are, irrespective of how many times you have given this presentation to the larger audience, practice is the key. If you do not practice, you will probably fumble upon You will miss on the important points that you probably want to share in the audience, and you'll not be able to make a connection with your audience at that particular moment, right? So the third one is non-verbal communication. I'm a very good speaker. Okay, I know my content really well. I know how my slides are arranged. Somebody in the design department created a beautiful presentation for myself. Okay, however, at the time of the presentation, I'm not myself. I'm not using my arms, I'm not using my eye contact, I'm not using, or I'm not very comfortable with my body language. Okay, what will happen is audience will understand it in a minute or so. Okay, they'll not be able to again connect with you. You'll not be able to connect with them. So body language plays a very important part when we talk about communication skills. There are a lot of things that we need to understand, mirroring the concepts like uh, how to use your hands. Like if you put your hands like this, or if you put your hands like this, it gives you confidence. So from this particular presentation perspective, I'll not be able to cover all those aspects today. Probably if we meet some other time in future, I'll share those details with you. But again, non-verbal communication play a very important part. Now going forward, you mentioned a lot about the design aspects of the presentation. Bad design kills your delivery. However good you are, if you're using a presentation to support the things that you want to present and the design is not good, you will tend to fail. Okay, your presentation, how your presentation looks is very, very important. If you are working in that particular area where you need to represent your organization to customers outside, if you're representing it to your higher management, if you're even representing it to your colleagues. Okay, so let's go ahead and understand. You, some of you mentioned about what are the key things that make a presentation a good design or a bad design. So let's go a little further and see what constitutes a bad design. Okay, can you all just read it, give it a minute or so? So the first thing is we also talked about it's too much text on a slide. Okay, using the bullet points, writing the paragraphs. We feel that if we put in a lot of information on the slide, again, it will be easier for us to read it, or people will read it if they're not able to connect with me. No, that's not right. So first thing is too much text on a slide is not really a good thing to go ahead with. The text on the slide should also be taken care of. You need to really make sure how are you presenting it. Will you be using a projector? Will you be using some virtual tool? How are you going to present it to your audience? Will the text will be on my slide? Is it too small or is it too large? So you need to take care of the slide text. Not enough visuals. Now, if you look at this particular slide, what do you see? What do you see? You do not see bullet points here? Though these are bullet points only, though these are the points 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What I've done is I've created a visual in front of you, which is not very distracting. It just highlights, yeah, it just highlights that there are 6 different pointers going into different direction, and these are the 6 points that we should be taking care of. So adding these kind of visuals, we'll talk about it when we create a presentation or learn about how to create a presentation in upcoming slides. Then not using a legible font, again a big mistake that we do. We play around with the font styles, the font colors, the colors, font size, and the type of fonts. So on a particular slide, you should not have more than 2 fonts. Again, going forward, we'll learn a lot about it. What is lack of negative space? Anybody? Lack of negative space? It is the white space that you see on this particular slide. If we do not have that white space, it will be difficult for the audience to understand what is written on the text. Yes, so we also need to make sure of this negative white space, that we have enough of white space on our slides in the background, not choosing the right color. So let's go ahead and see how to plan a powerful presentation. So far what we have seen is what are the pitfalls, starting with not enough practice, verbal delivery, non-verbal delivery, and bad design. Now, if we want to create a powerful presentation, what are the things that we need to take care of? Okay, the first and the foremost, what do you think? we talked about not enough practice. So it's going to be discover your purpose. Again, I'm referring to the STAR format of written communication or a verbal communication, STAR format of communication. You need to be, yes, you need to be ready with, why am I giving this talk? What is the main purpose? What does my business want from this particular presentation? What is the call to action? What do I want my customers to look into this? What action do I want my customers to take? Okay, if I'm presenting it to the management, is it only for the informational purposes? So you need to be very, very clear in terms of what is your purpose. Okay, the second is study your topic. We talked about this particular point at length. You need to be very clear in terms of your content should be up to date, your content should be accurate, and you need to research your audience, whether it is client or your management. Even to your management, if you present it, they will say, we all know that, what else do you have to offer? Okay, so you need to really do do a rain check. You need to understand what they're really expecting. Okay, now this is very interesting. Get organized. Somebody mentioned in the chat window that the flow of the presentation at times is very distracting, right? The flow of the presentation needs to be very, very clear. And there are 3 rules. First is, tell them what you will present, right? Second, present them and tell them that you have already told them or you have already presented. So it's a 3 point triangle. First is, tell them, when we say these are the contents of our program or these are the objectives, I am telling you that we will be talking about these points. Then I told you about the pitfalls, and then I made a kind of a revision or paraphrasing or whatever you may call it, that these were the pitfalls. So it's like a 3-edged sword. So you need to make sure that you do the same thing in your presentation. This is how your audience will be able to remember your presentation for a long time. Yes, she talked about that, and then she talked about this, and then she confirmed. Okay, you need to start with an introduction. There has to be a cover slide. There has to be a content slide. The styles have changed, so we'll be talking about what are the styles that we use these days. Then Q&A should be there before the closure. It is very important to put a Q&A slide. I don't have it in this particular presentation because you will anyways will be on mute. Then a feedback and a conclusion. So these are the steps that we should ideally follow in a business presentation. Okay. Successful opening. Okay, you may differ here with me, but I feel that storytelling is a very important game right now these days. Okay, why I said game? It is because it's not very simple to connect with the people these days. People are overwhelmed with so much information. Every day you are getting invites for Zoom sessions. Somebody is doing a program on one subject, other person is doing a program on another subject. There's so much information. There are so many free programs available. There are so many sites offering information, right? So the same kind of this is what happens in a business presentation also. So if you go and say, good morning, everyone. My name is so and so. I work in this particular department in this particular organization, and I'm going to cover today such and things. Okay, this is a pretty boring style of introducing yourself. Okay, if you have seen or if you have heard speeches from the Apple CEO Steve Jobs, or for that matter, people from I'm missing the name. The great presenters, what they generally do is they start with something very bold. Okay, are you prepared for the future? Okay, this is just a tagline. Are we prepared for future? Okay, so these are the questions. Yes, can we create an icebreaker from the start? Absolutely, you can do that. Ask a question. Why are we present here today? What are your takeaways? What would you like to take away from this particular session? Start with a surprising story. You know what happened? So you can start with some employee in your organization, how he dealt with the lockdown period during these past couple of days. You can start with the story. So instead of just going ahead and giving your introduction to the audience, it makes sense that you connect with them at a certain level. Okay, it does say my slide does say that show a video. It is again a very good way to connect if it is relevant. Again, if the video is not relevant to your subject, there will be a lot of disconnection and you'll not be able to make your stand there. Okay, so start with a story, connect at a different level altogether, start with a quote. Okay, people who are good with Hindi conversation, you can use a couple of lines of Hindi dohas or poems just to strike a connection with your people. People generally like it. Okay, or a Bollywood dialogue, people do not feel bad about it. It's just that if you add some humor to your presentation, people generally like it, right? You may disagree, as I said. Okay, let's go ahead. Now, what we have understood is what are the things that we should be taking care of. I hope we are good with the start, the middle, and the finish of our presentation. Now, let's get into the elements of Microsoft PowerPoint presentation tool. Okay, how to design a killer business presentation. I have a 5-point rule. After you go through this particular slide and presentation today, if you remember those five rules, I'm sure will never fail. Okay, the first rule is the slide layout. Okay, we'll talk about slide layout at length in upcoming slides. Now, one point I would like to share here, for the convenience of this presentation, what I've done is I have picked up certain slide templates from different presentations and I have put them into one single presentation. So when we go forward from the slide, you will see that there is no connection between the slide. Okay, the layout is very different. So these are just the examples that I'll be sharing for our understanding. Okay, the second is the font choice. Again, very important. We'll learn a couple of things about what kind of what font choices we should be making. The color choice, graphics and media. We'll talk a lot about vectors, icons here. The special effects. I'm sure we all are crazy about animations and transitions, but we need to restrict ourselves where these things are not really relevant. Okay, let's go ahead and understand about the first element, which is the slide layout. Okay. When we talk about slide layout, there are three essential things that we should take care of. One is your slide size. Okay. Now there are two types of slide size. One is compact and one is widescreen. Okay. So if you go to your ribbon and if you go to design and then the slide size, so I'll just write it in the chat window, design and slide size. It will give you two different options. One is custom and one it will give widescreen. I think it is custom. So these days, we should be using widescreen slide size only, because that's how you will be able to cover a lot of space on your presentation. I will not be able to share that slide with you. A custom is generally a squarish and the widescreen is like rectangle. So if you put it in the slideshow mode as you're currently watching on your Zoom sessions, it covers the entire slide. So that's the idea. The first thing that you should be doing is to change your slide size from custom to widescreen. I'm forgetting the dimensions, but it's pretty simple. Just take the widescreen slide size. Okay. If you have old presentations which have been developed in custom, if you try and make it widescreen, the content will remain on the center of the slide. You will probably have to rearrange all the elements on the slide as per the current slide size. Okay. The second most important thing is the understanding of the slide master and the template selection. Okay. Slide master, are you guys aware about slide master? On your chat windows, please. Okay, a few no's also here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing this current presentation here. Okay, and I'll share another presentation with you all. Okay, so do you see a Microsoft presentation in the normal view? Yeah, can you please confirm? All right, okay. So the slide master basically, whenever you are starting to create a new presentation, what you should generally be doing is See, think from a very layman perspective. When you're creating a presentation, what do you want to be put across all the slides? Your company logo and a certain slide that can be used across all the slides, right? And if you keep on doing that on all the slides manually, it's going to take a lot of time. So what we want to do is we want to standardize our slide design. How we can do it is go to design. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll just minimize it a little bit. Okay. Go to view. This is called ribbon. Go to view and then go to slide master. Are you with me? Go to view and then go to slide master. So when you go to slide master, it gives you different slide designs under the master control. Okay. Now what I've done is I've picked up a lot of slides from different presentations that I have made earlier. So that's why you see the master is very different, and it has different slides for the top slide, the cover page, and for rest of the pages. So this, you should go scroll up to the first slide, and this is the page that you can add your essential elements on. So go to view and then go to master view, go to slide number 1, that's your cover page, and whatever you want to do. For example, this is the logo that I have used here on this cover slide. If I remove this Tab DC logo, it will go away from all the slides underneath. Now this 2 is again a master slide. So if I remove this Tab DC logo from here, it will go away from all the slides underneath. If I put it back, it will come in all the slides here. So whatever design that you want to put in, or whatever template that you want to design for the very first time. So if you're doing a client presentation, it is a good practice that you use your company logo as well as your customer's logo, and you put a certain design which is common across all the slides. For example, if I show you this particular slide, it has this rectangle. It's a very simple design. It has this rectangle with 5 different colors. It sits at the bottom, and then if I just remove this, and if I put a logo here, this will be the design for my presentation. So the idea here for this particular session is, Rahul, you have mentioned that logo should be on top of the slide. It's not necessary. It depends on what content you are using. So if you do not want to distract people with the organization logo every time you make a presentation, it is a good practice to keep it at the bottom. So that's what I did. You can keep the logos at the bottom also. You can, if you're doing a client presentation again, and if you want to be respectful towards your customer, you can put their logo on top of yours. So that can also be done. It can be put anywhere. Yes. So I'm just going to make certain changes so that we can go back to our main presentation. I hope you are all okay with the master view. Again, go to view, go to slide master, whatever design that you want to use from the very beginning. After you set the slide design, this is the slide size. This is standard 4:3. This is widescreen 16:9. So use widescreen. You can also use custom slides, but I'll not suggest you to use it. Just use a simple widescreen, which is 16:9. So 2 things to understand here for the purpose of this 1-hour presentation. First is the slide size, second is the master view. Okay. Okay, let me share the presentation once again. I think I closed that presentation. Just allow me a minute, please. If you have any questions, please put that in the chat window. And as we go forward, we'll see a lot new things. Okay. Okay, do you see this slide now, the slideshow now? All right. So we talked about the slide size, we talked about the slide master. Another template selection I would like to mention here is that if you are not so good with design, if you're not very technical, and if you do not have expertise with Microsoft PowerPoint presentation, if you do not have the time to design your own slides and you have the flexibility to pick up any design, you can go to the templates which are available in Microsoft PowerPoint itself and use them. Okay. There are so many templates which are available online. And if you want these templates, we have a collection of templates that we have created for our users. If you want the templates which you can readily use, you can just drop us an email, and we will share all those templates with you. The presentation that I am doing today, it is also based on one of the templates that we created for ourselves, right? So my advice is use the existing templates which are available, and do not spend so much time in creating something new from the very basic, from the scratch. Okay, it's just going to take a lot of time for you to create a slide similar to like this. So there are so many elements which are on this particular slide, and if we create such a basic slide itself, it's going to take a lot of time. But we need to understand that there are certain tools available, and if we use these tools, we can prepare a killer presentation. Okay. Again, the third point here is to have a storyline. When I say storyline, we need to make sure that all the slides in the presentation, they are connected to each other, how a story is formed. Okay. You have a introduction, you have the objective slides, you have the information that you're giving, you have a call to action, and then timelines. So every slide should convey only one point. Okay, we need to be very, very careful. We should not have a lot of content on our slide. Now this particular slide, if you just look at it from the presentation perspective, this slide conveys about slide layout. It does not talk about anything else. It does not talk about font. It does not talk about colors. It does not talk about animation. It just talks about layout. So every slide should convey only one purpose. Okay. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to share certain templates with you. Let's see. So this is one of the template for using the cover slide. Okay. What is happening is there is a video running in the background. Do you see the video? Probably based on your bandwidth, you will see it a little slower. So there is a video which is running in the background, and then there is a title and the subtitle. So this is one way of creating a cover slide these days. Instead of just having a blank screen or just having a picture at the side, you can have a video inserted. How to insert a video is something that we'll have to know. This is a GIF, GIF. You can also have a video. Okay. This is another style of the title page. We are just talking about the first slide of your presentation, the killer slide. All the impression will be formed. The first impression that we talk about, this is the first impression of your business presentation. Now there are certain elements on this particular slide. Okay, it is creative. It has minimal animation. Now there are a couple of elements here. If I just go to the normal view, do you still see the presentation? Okay, let me just go to the normal view and share this with you again. Okay. Now see, this is the normal view of the presentation. If I click on this particular slide, it has a picture at the background. Now, if I remove this thing, this is the picture that I picked up from internet and I put it on the slide. Okay. Now, if you see the text on top of this picture, it's not readable. And this is the biggest mistake that we do. We put up a picture and we put up a text assuming that it will look like a killer slide. Okay. This is the basic flaw that we do. Even if you change the color of this particular, the text that is written over here, it's not going to really help you. Okay. It's still very, very conflicting with the design styles that we are talking about. So whatever picture that you may have, there is a solution to it. And that is the first tip that I'm going to give you today, is to use a text box or a shape and put it on top of your picture. Okay. So the text text box I'm going to use is, so this is the text box. I hope you all are aware about the text box, how to insert a text box. Yeah. Okay. So you go to home, and then inside this drawing options, you will see this text box option here. Just pick up this particular text box and draw it over the entire slide. So my entire slide is covered. Still, it's not doing anything. What we need to do is click on this text box, go to the shape format, or just right click and go to the shape format, right click and go to format shape. Once you do that, a right window opens up, panel opens up. Fill it with a solid color. In this case, I'm going to fill it with probably a lighter gray, okay? And I'm going to put up a transparency of certain percentage. See, so what we need to do is we need to make the picture at the background visible to some extent only. Okay, if I just make it a little darker, and if I remove the transparency, and if I put it at the backwards, see, is there a difference in the previous slide that we saw without the text box and this one? We are still using the same picture that we downloaded from internet, but this way it is the text on the slide, it's overpowering the picture, and that's what we wanted. Okay, so whenever you use pictures from internet, one way is to put up a text box, give it a solid color, and give transparency to some particular level. Okay, now if you don't want to do a text box thing, what you can do is just click on this picture, go to picture format, and you go to the color here. Now this also gives you certain color options which you can play around with. So these are the colors that this particular option gives me. It makes it gray, it makes it blue. It also looks better than the previous picture that we downloaded from the system, right? So use text box, that's a key. I will show you other slides also. And the same thing I have done on other slide, other cover slide, I'll show you in a minute. Okay, if I ask you one question, if your management asks you to prepare a report right now, talking about the estimates or the sales forecast for Q1 2020, what should be your cover slide? What should be your title slide? On your chat windows, please. If you want to make a presentation, if you're the owner of your organization, or if you represent or you report to the top management, and if you are preparing a report, I'll just put you on mute once again. Okay. I request you all to please put yourselves on mute. I have done that, but somehow, okay. So my question to you is, if you need to prepare a sales forecast for Q1 2020, what should be your cover slide? What should be the text on your cover slide? The growth images or GIF, achievement and area of work, okay? More responses, please. Fast forward, yes, that's a great one as well. Wonderful. So these are the ideas that generally we should be putting up on our cover slide. So I'll just show you, I'll stop share and I'll put it on the slideshow mode once again. Let me share that with you. Share screen. Once. Okay. Do you see it now? Okay, right. So this is what I tried to create. So there's a picture, the crossroads picture at the background, and the title is Prepare for the Unexpected. Analysis 2019 versus 2020, and this is how Q1 2020 looks like. Okay, so this is the cover slide. The idea of telling you this is you need to have a cover slide which is related to the content of your presentation. It should not be altogether very different. Okay, there are so many images which are available on internet. Just make sure that you use a legitimate one. Do not use any picture which has some kind of trademark logos over there. Okay, so this is a nice title slide that we can prepare for the subject that we just talked about. Okay, in the next few slides, I'm going to show you the sample of objectives. what we generally do is the table of contents that we used to say earlier. We create bullet points and then we share those bullet points on the slide when we do a presentation. So let's see a few nice ways of putting across our bullet points to the audience. So this is one of the slides. I picked it up from one of the presentations that we created, or I think this is one I downloaded from net. So this is again a nice way of showcasing that these are the 5 points that we'll be talking about. There are no bullet points. The title or the objectives are very clear in front of you. It is very, very, what you call contemporary, right? It has got colors. We'll talk about a lot of cool colors that we can use in the presentation. Let's see another style which I really like. There are no animation. It says table of contents, but we can get rid of table of contents here. So these are the things that we are going to talk about. Do you see a change here? Instead of having something on top of in the third box, it gives you a picture out here, right? It is just to break the monotonous way of putting things on the slide. Okay? So this is another very nice way of using your table of contents. What I mean to say here is, instead of bullet points, instead of using smart art, instead of using any of the tools that are available, try to become a little more creative. Again, you don't have to create it from very basic. On this slide, you will also see that there are vectors available. These small icons that you see, these are called vectors. Vectors or icons. These are great way of reflecting what you want to communicate. Okay. Now we'll go to the another sample. This is again a very nice table of contents kind of a slide. You see there is a picture. It's not a video. It's a picture that is running in the background. There is an animation attached to it, which is pulling the picture from the very far left towards the right hand side. Okay. So again, a little bit of animation at the background makes your presentation very, very creative. It has the animation in the background only, and these are the bullet points that we intend to share with the participants. Again, a very nice way of putting the agenda across. Some people may disagree with me that animations play an important role. We can put some animations, but limit it to a very few animating elements on your presentation. Otherwise, it looks very, very distracting. You keep on clicking the board. Otherwise, just make it a natural flow. Okay. There's another one here. So it's going from one to another, from another. Table of contents, another slide. If you need all these templates, I can share them with you. Just write an email to us and these will be shared with you. Okay. Now, these are the timelines that I was talking about. So if you have certain timelines, if you are sharing the quarterly analysis, if you're sharing the monthly analysis, if you're sharing any other analysis, this is the way that you should be putting at. Another beautiful way of giving information to the user. This is again a timeline infographic. Okay, so far what we have understood is it is important to have our slide size in the widescreen. It is important to have a single template which works across all the slides in our presentation, so that we don't have to recreate it every time. It is important to have nice cover page, and we have just seen one trick on how we can use the internet picture and get rid of the colors in the background, and how to make it very nice and appealing, and how important it is to have a table of contents but not in the bulleted format, just a regular slide with certain animations and a different way of putting the information across. Now comes the font choice. Okay, what are your favorite fonts? What are your favorite fonts? Calibri. Okay. Yes. Okay. You all have different choices. So I'll just mention that Calibri, Gill Sans, Cambria, Tahoma, Georgia. These are standard styles. Arial, Times Roman. Yeah, these are very boring styles, but they still work very beautifully. And we need to make sure that the font style that you're using, the font type that you're using, it is also available on the system that you will probably be playing your presentation upon. So there are 4 points we need to take care of when we talk about presentation fonts. First is stick to standard fonts. We have talked about it. Stick to standard fonts. Do not play around with a lot of fonts which are available. Do not make it very complex for the people to read it. Do not make it italics. Do not use scripts. Again, I have seen a lot of presentations where a Comic Sans being used in a professional presentation. Not at all desired. Do not use Comic Sans. Stick to professional fonts. Yeah, plenty of contrast. What do I mean by plenty of contrast? Now look at this particular slide which is in front of you. Okay, we are using only 2 font, just single font style. Both are, everything on this slide is Arial. The header is Arial. The points in front of you, they are Arial. The font which is written here, this is again Arial. Okay. Now what I've done is I've played around with the colors. There are plenty of colors. There's white, there's black, there's dark gray. You'll not see it. This is dark gray. So play around with the font colors. Do not play around with the font styles. You can have maximum of 2 font types on your presentation, not more than that. Okay. Again, we have talked about strict scripts and italics. Get rid of italics. It's not really desired, and make it big enough. Now, these days, smaller fonts are not really desired. So what we are saying is, do not have a lot of text on your slide. Whatever you have, put it on in a bigger font. Okay, so that when you go in front of the audience, people only see the title on the slide, and rest of the stuff you just talk it about. Okay, and from there the confidence, from there the connectivity with the audience will come. If you put everything on the slide, people will just read the slides and they will not listen to what you're saying. Okay, it's like giving them a menu, and along with giving them a menu, telling them that these are the things that are on offer, so that people listen to you as well. Okay, now look at this particular slide. It has again a single font. This is Lato, Lato. Lato is also an amazing font. I generally use Lato. Lato comes in 3 different flavors: Lato Bold, Lato I'm forgetting, Lato Regular, and Lato Slim. So there are 3 different styles that are being used here on a single slide. So it remains Lato, but sorry, I'll just send it to everybody. So it's Lato. Okay. So if you try Lato across, single font type, but we are using it differently on the slide. I hope you're all good as far as the font choices are concerned. We have talked about the slide layout. We have talked about the font choices. There's a lot to discuss about fonts, but in the interest of time, I'm just moving far ahead. Okay, the color choice, we just have 5 to 7 minutes. So I'll just quickly go through it. The color choice, these are the 2 different types of colors. One are the warm colors, one are the cool colors. My advice to you is to go ahead with the cool colors. Do not use warm colors until desired or asked by your management or your organization in your presentations. In this presentation that I have done, that I've created, I'm using greens and blues here. Light green, darker green, light blue, darker blue. So I'm just playing around with the cool colors. So it is good. It's a good idea to use the cool colors only. Now, when we talk about colors, there are many things like hues, tints, tones, and shades. I'm not getting into the details of colors right now, again, in the interest of time. But since we all do photography on our smartphones these days, so we understand how to do corrections in our photographs and then post it on the social media. So we all understand how to increase the tone or decrease the tone, how to work on the shades and all that stuff, right? So again, this slide is very important. You need to really understand who is your audience, what industry do you represent, your organization's colors, and what is the medium of presentation. If you're clear about these 4 things, who is your audience? If you are representing this presentation to a bunch of college goers, it doesn't make sense for you to use blues and greens here. You can use bright yellow also. Bright yellow represents what you call positivity. It represents future. So we need to really understand our audience. If you're representing a fashion industry, Again, blues and greens, probably not your colors. You can play around with purple. Okay. Your organization colors for Tab DC, for that matter, we are a red organization. We use lots of reds, but our presentations are built in blues. So you need to really connect with your organization and the themes that are developed in your organization. When we talk about larger organization, when I was in IBM, we were given the theme colors. We were given the hues, that these are the colors that you can use in your presentations and you cannot move away from these colors. So when we used to prepare presentations for external customer or for internal wider audience. Okay, so slide layout, font choice, color choice, and next comes the graphics and the media. When we talk about graphics and media, there are so many things that comes under it. We talk about these icons. We talk about these vectors. Now, pictures are also under graphics and media. Videos, how you can insert videos, how you can insert audios. So we need to be very careful while using the graphics and medias. It's a very interesting slide in front of you. Just read what it says. Steve Jobs began using the formula of one number or theme per slide long before business professionals even started thinking about designing presentations more effectively. Have you seen a business presentation that used to be delivered by Bill Gates? Anybody? Okay, I'm going to show you a couple of samples. It used to be like this. So when you are presenting a larger audience, your presentation only says 71 seconds. And then he mentioned that within 71 seconds of the launch of our iPhone 7, all the models were sold out. Nothing is written on the screen. It is just one bold statement, 71 seconds, right? The next slide says 50 billion. What does it say? There have been 50 billion downloads from the App Store. Okay, so these are the powerful slides. If you want people to understand or remember the numbers for a very, very long time, these are the slides that you need to really create. This is called the power of empathy. Okay, how much identifying how much your audience know, identifying what they do not know. Okay, so just connect with your audience using these kind of slides if you're very comfortable with your delivery style and the content remembrance. Okay. Again, a very powerful slide. We are using a animation on the left hand side and your media, or what you call the three insights. This is very flat, very straightforward. So when this particular slide comes, you talk about what are the insights. This is a list of vectors and icons. I have been talking about vectors and icons. These are freely available on internet on most of the sites. What you need to do is you just need to download them. And the key here is when you use these vectors on your presentation, they should be transparent. Okay, if they are not transparent, so what I'm saying is I'm writing that in the chat window also, vectors or icons should be transparent. And throughout the presentation that I have prepared today, you must be having an idea on how to use the vectors or icons throughout the presentation. Once I'm done with this slideshow, I will tell you how to download easily available icons in the PowerPoint presentation. Also, just stay with me for a couple of slides wherein we'll see how to use these vectors. So see this. So the idea, strategy, production, and distribution, there is these are the vectors. These are the transparent vectors that are available, and these have been used in this particular slide. Okay. These are the pictures that have been used, the use of the pictures on your slide. Okay, one key takeaway from this is if you're using pictures on your slides, be consistent with the use of pictures across all the slides. It should not be like you use picture on one slide and do not use pictures on rest of the slides. So it has to be synchronous like this. So I picked up these 3 slides from the single presentation. All the 3 slides have a picture, whether it is at the bottom or on the right hand side or on the top. So these are the key design things that I've just mentioned as far as graphics and medias are concerned. Again, on this particular, if you see, these are the vectors, these are the transparent vectors that have been used. Let me just share with you. I'm just unsharing my system and sharing the presentation with you again. Okay, let's go back to this. Okay, so let's see, these are the, okay. These are the transparent vectors that I've been talking about. If I put it here, and you can change the color also, go to shape format and make it like visible here. It's somewhere in the background. Let me just get rid of it. Okay. So if you want to insert icons which are available in PowerPoint, you need to go to insert and you need to go to icons here under the illustrations. Okay. Go to icons here. It will take some time. Do you see? Please wait while we load icons screen. Okay, so these are the icons which are available across PowerPoints. I'm using Office 365, PowerPoint 2016 over Office 365. So these are the icons which are already available to me, and these have been provided by Microsoft itself. So these are the icons that you can use anywhere. Okay, these are very nice smileys. If you scroll down, there are hundreds of vector icons which are available, and you should sparingly use them. So these are the stickers. Stickers should not be used. These are the icons I'm suggesting we should be using. And if you want to use certain people in your presentation to connect, you can use the cutout of the people as well. Okay. Right. So I'll share the presentation with you once again. And we'll quickly wrap it up in a couple of minutes. The next is the special effects. I hope you all have used animations and transitions. There is a bigger program that we generally do wherein we talk about how to use different animations, like the one that you must have seen in this particular presentation. What are the different ways of creating it on different elements? So in the interest of time, we'll not be talking about it. But one word of advice is do not use a lot of animations when you're doing a client presentation. There's one thing that you should be using is it is very important to have a co-partner at the time of presentation. So if you're doing a client presentation and you do not have the inputs about all the products that you are generally manufacturing, you represent the marketing department or you are the owner of the organization, but you also need expertise from your production. What you can do is you can record a short video from your production head and put it in your presentation, just to add a difference of opinion or just to add additional inputs from your production person as well. So you can insert a short video from the person who is directly working on the product manufacturing. Okay, so we have talked about slide layout, font choices, color choices, graphics and media, special effects. We should be taking care of all these 5 elements if you want to create a killer business presentation, as we say. This is a slide which is again very interesting, I should say. One second. Okay, this is very interesting. When you start a presentation, give the overview first. What we generally do is, without even asking a lot of information, we provide all that information in the PowerPoint presentation. If somebody is interested in understanding what were the sales figure in Q1 2019, the person will ask you, can you show me a comparison between 2019 sales figure with respect to 2020? If somebody asks you, you should have a placeholder, or you should have some backup slides, or you should have a link wherein if you click it, it goes to another slide, or it goes to an Excel sheet, or it goes to the backup slide. So you need to think from your audience perspective, what your audience really want. Only upon asking the question, whenever this question is put across to you, you should zoom in and then provide the information. This is the principle of data visualization. And the third is details only on demand. If we again remember these 3 points, it will be very easy for us to connect with our audience well in time. Let's just summarize quickly. What are the 3 points? Before your speech, It's self-explanatory. We need to do a lot of homework. We need to practice, practice, and practice. Public speaking is very important. Whether you are a good speaker or not, whether you have command over the language or not, you need to brush up your skills, your language skills, your presentation skills. If you are not very confident with the language that you're using, there is a 50% chance that your presentation may bomb. And you need to speak the language of your audience. If they're not comfortable with English, and if you do your presentation in English, it's going to bomb. Now, I'm using English as a mode of communication because the people from different locations are joining in, and I'm not sure if they're comfortable with Hindi or not. But I believe the kind of English I'm using, you were able to understand through most of the presentation, right? And it's okay to be nervous. It's okay to be silent in between. It's okay to relax, and your voice is very important. After your speech, ask for the feedback. Don't skip the Q&A session as we talked about. Questions are really good, and reconnect with your prospects. People who ask you questions during the presentation are the people who are really interested in your products, who really want to, you were able to engage with them to some extent, and they'll be great prospects for you going forward as well. Now, again, summarize it very nicely. Research, plan, prepare, design correctly. Remember the 5-thumb rule, 5-point rule. Do you remember the 5-point rule? Can you please mention in your chat windows? 5-point rule: slide layout, font, color, graphics, and animations. Okay. And practice to perfection and deliver it with poise. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what I had for this particular session. If you want to explore more about how to create presentations, you can reach out to us and we can plan certain sessions going forward. These are our coordinates. I hope I was able to connect with you at some level. It is, I was not able to get the 100% feedback from you, but those, the people who were chatting with me on the chat window, I was able to understand that, yes, I am able to connect. So I shared these few tips that I learned over years of experience while working with the IT industry. These are the key points that we gathered while creating these killer presentations for our customers and for our in-house use. I hope this was a little bit important, or there were some key takeaways from you as well. Please share your feedback with us on these coordinates, and we'll be happy to stay connected with you on LinkedIn or otherwise. I'll share the recording with you shortly, probably by tomorrow. Thank you very much. Stay safe, stay at home, take care of your families. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Since you are sending your chat messages, I'll just keep the meeting open for a little longer. Thank you so much. Thanks for being a lovely audience. And if I can be helpful to you in any way going forward, please do reach out to us. Thank you. You may exit from the training room. Thank you, Anilji. Thank you, Nidhi.